Working Class Beer Reviews is looking at Yuengling Flight. Yuengling Flight. Yuengling is out of Pottsville, Pennsylvania. But it also says Fort Worth, Texas. That's I'm guessing Anheuser-Busch breweries. Maybe they contract through, but in my town, when I see the delivery truck, I see Grellner, which is not the Budweiser distributor. That's the Miller Coors, Molson Coors, whatever distributor. So I don't know how they work this out. They may contract through both with the distribution and with making. But anyway, before I get to talking about it, it's like 5:30. The sun's going down, so I probably run out of daylight here. Church key the can, pour it into this little goblet chalice looking thing. Look at that. Oh, the whole can in there. Look at that. Nice. So skinny can, like a Michelob Ultra can. So that, to me, that gives me like Anheuser-Busch vibes. According to the Yuengling website, the Flight is 4.2% ABV. It says that on the can too. 2.6 grams of carbs, yes, and 95 calories. So essentially, Michelob Ultra is what this is trying to appeal to Michelob Ultra drinkers. Availability, you have draft, which I've never seen this on draft. I've seen regular Yuengling on draft. 12-ounce cans, which this is. 16-ounce cans, so you get pint cans. 24-ounce cans, so the gas station cans. 12-ounce bottles. 6-pack bottle, 12-pack bottle, 12-pack can. 16-ounce reclosable pint, only available in Texas. So that's like your screw top cans, like your Miller and Coors. I think I've actually seen the Yuenglings in those. So that, yeah, there's a weird cross between that, because I've seen them in they're shorter, and they're not like the long skinny ones like the Budweiser ones. They're the shorter, fatter ones, like you'll see the Miller Lite and Coors Light in. 15-pack, 16-ounce reclosable pints, only in Texas. 7 IBUs. So that's the first time on a light beer that I've ever seen the IBUs. So what do you get? Look at that. Not much sun, but it's very, very clear. It looks like a very light straw pale. The head has dissipated. Still around, per se, but it's dissipated pretty thin. It's just kind of floating there on top. Yeah, this is a 12-ounce can. It says next generation of light beer. Pretty much when Yuengling came into my area in the early 2020s, there's regular Yuengling, the Flight, which is like the Ultra, and then there's a light, and then a Golden Pilsner that I've seen. So I've done the regular Yuengling, I've done the Flight, so I have to do the other two that I can find. I'm not inclined to buy this normally. I have friends that enjoy this. My wife enjoys Michelob Ultra. Anything like this, she doesn't mind drinking it. She feels a little better about having it than more of a full-bodied beer. She doesn't feel like she gets full on it. So, yeah, we've seen the appearance. Let's get a smell. I'm not trying to rush, but I feel like the daylight, I don't want the camera quality to go down. And I feel like my earbuds are dying. The charger to my earbuds went through the laundry on accident. I left them in some of my pajama bottoms and washed it. And now it doesn't want to charge. So I probably have to buy a new charging pod for my earbuds. It kind of stinks. So it smells very light, pale, like not real strong, not very pronounced. Like clean water. You don't smell, maybe a little bit of hoppiness. If you really were trying to look for it, you could get that. But let's see what it tastes like. Kind of like what you would expect. I feel like it has more flavor than Michelob Ultra, but I can't state that for sure because I'd have to do a side-by-side comparison. There's been other beers. This has become a very popular style with the carb conscious and the calorie conscious. 95 calories is, I think Miller Lite is somewhere around like 96 or something like that. Now the carb count, the 2.6, it's hard to find that, but I will say if you look at Milwaukee's Best Light, I don't know that I've done a review. I'll have to look at my catalog, but I have one can left. If I haven't done it yet, I will do a review on that. Because that is, if you're looking for a low carb, low calorie beer, that is the best bang for your buck. And you'd have to, you know what? Someone, their bias could kick in and be like, oh, well, that's probably tastes gross. You don't know until you do a blind taste test. And I feel like that's the great equalizer there to remove your bias. Because I, with friends, have done taste tests when it comes to like different types of whiskeys and stuff like that. And I went in there thinking, oh, I really like this brand. This is probably going to be my favorite. And I was completely schooled and humbled and found out my brand actually was the lowest rating when it comes to a blind taste test. So if you really want to have an honest opinion on flavor and taste, you know, if you don't feel like you have to put up appearances or anything like that, you may find out that Milwaukee's Best Light tastes just as good as Yuengling Flight, Michelob Ultra. Corona Premier is another one of those new ones that have come out, and I think Heineken's put one out that's like a low carb, low calorie type of Heineken. I forgot what it's called. I know they put out an NA for people that are, you know, doing something where they feel like they need that. But yeah, this is like the new market, is this ultra light beer. 4.2 though is the same alcohol content pretty much as most light beer. 4.1 some of them, but Bud Light, or Miller Light, Coors Light, I think they're all in the 4.2 range. So yeah, what you're doing is you're getting the same as them but lower in carbs and calories, except for I think Milwaukee's the Beast Light is 3.2 I think in carbs, but the calories is about the same. It's in the mid to upper 90s. Yeah, I just wanted to squeeze this in after I got this because I don't buy it very often. Milwaukee's Best Light, I buy it every so often. So if I don't get the video reviewed for it soon, I know I'll end up buying it down the road. Just based off of price. It's one of those, like, let's say you get paid every 2 weeks. In between paychecks, you want to get some beer. You want something that, you know, just kind of easy. Don't need to think about it. You can buy that 24 pack at Walmart. It's like $13 for a suitcase of it. Yeah, honestly, I highly recommend it. I think it's a bummer that Milwaukee's Best Premium got discontinued. And I did look in my catalog. I actually did a review of that. So before it got discontinued, and I'm glad. Because I was like, I remember seeing it after the announcement in 2021 or whenever it was, when there was a big purge that went on with Miller Coors of some of their brands that they were going to quit making. Because I think I talked about with my Natural Ice video that Keystone Ice got discontinued. And I don't know that I got to review that one. But Milwaukee's Best Premium was one of those that got discontinued, which is kind of odd. But I did get that one in there, so I'm glad. I'm glad I got that. What I was saying, though, is after the purge, I saw it up in Kansas City. So they must have, at some point, in some places, still kept producing it for a time, even after the announcement. But, yeah, this is... It's an expensive light beer. It looks nice, and I think when you're going to social gatherings where people may look down or judge you by what beer you buy, you may go for something like this so that they won't give you a hard time, which is silly. If people were to pass judgment on you based off the beer you drink, you really need to probably reevaluate your friendship with said people. Now, if they want to rib you and give you a hard time, that's just what friends do, you know. But you should be able to bring whatever you want. Keystone Light, Milwaukee's Best Light, Natural Light. They're all in the same vein as this, but way cheaper. You know, this is for a 12 pack. It's like $14. I have seen bottles. Um, I don't know. I just buy the cans. It's easier to store. I've got a little mini fridge that I keep my beer in that my wife bought on Amazon for pretty cheap, and it keeps it cold because our fridge is just, it's full of food, leftovers, whatever. So I just don't want to take up that room with beer. I was keeping it in the cooler, but I'm spending all that money on ice, keeping it cold. Sorry, I don't know why I just got all kind of stuffy all of a sudden. So the mini fridge works out pretty good if you can find one of those. They're pretty handy, kind of nice to have. Yeah, especially come summertime, I'm buying ice because my cooler isn't great. It's just a cheap little igloo. I'm sure if I bought a Yeti or something fancy, it would probably ice would probably last a lot longer. But I'm cheap, working class. Sorry, I'm not gonna. If I find one on sale, which it's hard to find nice coolers on sale because probably coolers are always in demand. Do I have anything against this? No, it's good. Tastes great. It's clean, refreshing, uh, inoffensive. Nothing wrong with it. It's a little thin. I like the more full flavored beers personally. I know they're not great on my figure now that I'm getting into my 40s. So if I was to just pound, full flavored beers all the time, you're just gonna have to pay the consequence of it. So lighter beers, if you're moderate with your habits, they shouldn't. I mean, it's going to affect you one way or another, but it will affect you less. But it's still a quality product. That's really the long and the short of it. If I really wanted to reduce it down to that, it's a cool looking label. I will say that. The Michelob Ultra style. I think there's other beers that I've seen with this kind of. Well, obviously, like Bud Light Platinum has little skinny cans, but there may be other brands that do that. But yeah, it's good. I'm not going to give it a rating of any sort. I don't feel the need to. If you like it, buy it. If you like something like this, but you want something cheaper, there is other alternatives out there that I've stated in the video. And anyway, but I appreciate you guys paying attention to this, and I will see you guys later.